got him.
Easy now. Papa got this, make it happen.
Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. I'ma have to cut you off, like right now. You see, I don't want to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they ain't finished change. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip. Yeah, you
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by The Athletic. Shout out to the company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. I'm here with my co-host, Christopher Kidd. Make sure you follow us both up on the tweet machine. You guys know where to follow me at on there. So I would just shout out our YouTube channel. Shout out to everyone who subscribes to Seahawks Man to Man. That's the number 2 on YouTube. Chris, talk to him.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206 and that's CKid206.
We are joining you during this off-season break in action with a special guest joining us on the pod, the second Seahawks coach to join us on the pod. We have Amanda Ruller, who is the assistant running backs coach for the Seahawks. Amanda, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. This is awesome. I'm so excited.
And we talked a little bit about this before you recorded. You are a second coach. You're following Clint Hurt, who spoke with us last summer. At the time, he was the defensive line coach. He has since been promoted. And that Clint show has been tweeted to me and Chris as some of our listeners' favorite show. And we've been doing this for 6 years. So no pressure.
No pressure. He's an amazing person altogether. And I can't believe I get to follow him, but I will try my best. He's a great guy. I have to say that. So shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Clint Hurt. Clint, if you want to come back on now that you got the promotion, holla at me.
We need you
Yeah,
back on.
he knows how to get a hold of me if he wants to do that. But we'll focus on you, Amanda. You are one of 3 coaches working with the Seahawks this summer as part of the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship. Again, you are working with the running backs. Shout out to the homie Chad Morton, as running backs coach with the Seahawks. And I have a story on you actually dropping. By the time this comes out, it'll be out. They should both come out Thursday the 14th. And when we spoke a few weeks ago for that story, you're walking a VMAC and you hadn't really had a chance to like sit back and think like, wow, I coach for the Seahawks, and kind of just like really take that in. So let's do it now. How does that feel to be coaching with the Seattle Seahawks?
Oh my goodness. It's kind of a surreal experience. I've always dreamed of being within the NFL, and I never thought it would escalate this quickly, but my determination and my push has got me here. And now we have a little bit of a break. So I did get to sit back and just sit at the facility and just take it all in. Because when I was there for OTAs and mini camp, it was just go, go, go. So it was just minute to minute. Like I was very busy. Now I've taken a second to be like, oh my goodness, where am I today? What do I get to do? I'm just so grateful. And I'm so happy and that I get to live out my passion and my dream, even for just the Bill Walsh Diversity and Coaching Fellowship. That is amazing that they're giving opportunities to people like myself, which they haven't maybe seen ever before. And now I get to come in there and prove my worth and work very hard and hopefully make some connections.
I would ask you, what has it been like being in this experience? Like, you said it's been just tell me, what has it been like working with the Seahawks?
I think when I first came in, the culture hit me right away. And I'm a big fan of getting to know everybody. So I asked everybody within the organization, from coaches to players to people in football ops, like, what is your favorite thing about working here? And they said the culture. As soon as you step within the building, they are friendly, they're nice, they're energetic. And that's exactly who I am. And I think throughout sports, I've always been very outgoing and larger than life. And in a lot of ways, I never felt like I fit in truly, just because I was an athlete. And sometimes when I was coaching on some coaching opportunities, I was a little like boisterous and like energetic and always all over the place. I feel like I fit in. I feel like for once I've been so welcomed, and I feel like their culture is so part of me that I am so grateful that I get to be part of it. And this is a team that I fit with very well. Even coaching within the CFL with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, we were considered the 13th man team. And now I'm with the 12th man team. So it's just like, it's so cool that it kind of happened back to back. And and two very similar teams that were part of the community. We're very culture based, we're very energetic, and that's exactly who I am. So for just the whole time, even just being there within the building, everybody says hello, everybody's welcoming, and not for 1 minute did I think that I didn't belong there.
That's dope. What do you hope to gain from this experience with the Seahawks?
Just become a better coach. I think throughout my life, when I was an athlete, I used to put into place like, this is my goal. I want to run this certain time in track and field during my sprints, or I wanted to lift this certain amount of weight when I competed in weightlifting. But I've kind of changed my goals and focused more on the journey. So one of my goals is just to be a better coach overall. And I was like, how do I achieve that? So I set more habits. So I did more habit stacking to try to become a better coach. Like my goal is to work within the NFL as a positional coach or even higher, maybe an OC one day. But you know what? If I create those habits right here, right now, that are going to help me just to be a better coach every single day, that's what I hope to achieve here. So I'm talking to every single person on the coaching staff, learning from them, saying, how are you a great coach? How did you go about your journey? And is there any advice that you can give me along the way? Because sometimes it is about who knows you, and the more connections I can build, and if they go off into different areas, they can say, I knew Amanda. I might bring her in.
That's powerful. You mentioned talking with coaches, getting their perspective, and you've been around experienced coaches, whether it's with Big Master or the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and now the Seahawks. So how has, if anything, picked up from your coaching style and what you plan on doing?
Yeah. So as an athlete, I've been coached by tons of people, and I kind of adopted the best coaches and the worst coaches, because the worst coaches that coached me did teach me something. That's not how I want to be coached. So my coaching style, I'm very individual when it comes to athletes. I try to figure out like what are their personal needs going forward and how can I best help them. Even with all the running backs I have with the Seahawks, I got to know them each personally. Like, what do you need? What is your coaching style? What do you need from me? And sometimes a lot of coaches don't ask that. And I found that the coaches here really do that. And I was really appreciative of that. And I said, perfect, this is where I belong, because they all coach just like me. Get to know the athletes. What is the language I can use to help you get better? And how can we create and foster a winning environment? Because it's all about competition there, and getting better. And that's what I'm about. And that's what I was about as an athlete. And I'm trying to foster these new athletes and for them to get better. And that's what I'm all about.
Has Pete thrown you in any competitions, shooting hoops, kicking field goals? What's he had you do?
Yeah. Not kicking field goals yet, but literally like the first day I was there, and the staff, like the whole meeting, like one of the team meetings, it was kind of nerve wracking because they were like, hey, we have like a new coach coming in. I was like, oh no,
It's me.
Your heart's already racing, because it is quite a big deal for me to even just be in the building. But he put me on the spot. He's just like, Coach Ruller is going to come up and like shoot some hoops for 30 seconds. You get 30 seconds to shoot him as many baskets as you can. And then Travis Homer was up next. So I was against him. And they played the Space Jam theme music, which I'm a personal fan of Space Jam, because growing up, that was my literal jam. Like, great movie. And I got I think I got like two or three baskets, and I beat Travis, which was
there we
cool.
go.
Yeah. So everyone was like, oh my God. And I felt so cool. He made me feel comfortable. Like after that moment, like I just kind of like put it all out there. My nerves just like ended, and I felt so comfortable being in front of everybody, because as a coach, like you have to be in front of people. You're going to do speeches, you're going to be talking, and that just calmed my nerves. And I just felt like, okay, this is awesome, because their level of compete, like they want everyone to compete and feel welcome. I thought that was amazing, because someone that loves sports and is in sports, that's a great way to foster a good culture there. And I love to be welcomed that way.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Pete's the type of guy to have a rock, paper, scissors competition go viral. You know,
Yeah, no.
Always compete.
Yeah, whatever it is, like he can make it happen, make a competition out of it. Your athletic background is not limited to football. I mean, you ran track in college, University of Regina, played soccer there. You were so damn fast. You ended up with the bobsled team, the skeleton team. Chris, you know who skeleton is?
Yeah. So
you Googled it?
No, I watched her presser and she talked about it. And when she said it, I'm like, wait a second, the one where you're I was like, no
Well, you're
way.
head first.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no way I would ever do such a thing. So I salute you for even going out there and doing that because that looks scary.
Yeah, and then you've got weightlifting on your resume, record setting
Yeah.
weightlifter as well. You play football in the Legends Football League, Team Canada, win a silver medal in the IFAF World Championships.
Yeah.
You got a lot. You got a lot going on. Certified physiologist, strength and conditioning specialist. Let me see if I can remember everything off the top of my head. Bachelor's in kinesiology. Got that right as well.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, got a little bit of everything. Yeah, no. So how is all that, all of the stuff that you have on and off the field, all these other sports you've played, your football experience, how has that shaped the type of coach you are and how you see the game?
Yeah, that made me exactly who I am, and the amount of coaches I've had throughout all those different sports, I've had a variety of things to see and learn from. So it's basically I almost took a master's in sports because I've been in every single sport. And some might say like, "Oh, well you did everything and it didn't stick." I mean, I tried everything and sometimes it didn't work out, but at least I tried. And I tried everything to my fullest and I tried to make the Olympic team and I tried this and that and tried to make national team and I tried so hard in weightlifting. I broke some records within my province and made it to nationals. It's been an amazing journey, and throughout that, I wouldn't have changed anything. I tried my hardest at everything. I'm only 5 feet tall,
Mm.
and that was kind of sometimes, the hindrance with track and field because my stride's not long enough, but I still tried in everything, and that shaped who I am because I am so used to failure. I don't mind if I, like, submit my resume 1,000 times to the NFL, or I went to the NFL Combine this year, and I approached people like GMs, coaches, anybody I could, and I didn't even ask for anything. I just kind of put it in their hands and said, "I'm a coach, and like I'm aspired to be something just like yourself, or work within the organization." I think being in all these sports let me put myself out there and not be afraid of failure, because that's the number one thing people are afraid of is moving to a new country, moving to a new spot, finding new friends, trying a new sport because it's so scary. You have to jump out of your comfort zone. And I am not afraid of that. I will do that 10 times over and over and over and over again. And even going from CFL to NFL, you're out of your comfort zone. That is a huge beast to be taking on. And you have to put yourself out there within the organization and social media. I think I was there 3 weeks before somebody had interviewed me. And then once it had gone that way, I was just like, here I am again, taking on another beast within social media. Everyone's eyes are on me, but I am okay with it. I am okay with rejection. I'm okay with that side of it because my passion trumps everything else that might come with it.
Along those lines, you told what I thought was just a fascinating story when you spoke to us in the media after practice. I want to say like June 14th or something. You mentioned trying out for Team Canada and not making the team initially,
Kept going.
and then just kept showing up. What was that like? I feel like that's something most people don't do when they get cut. They just don't stop coming
Yeah,
back.
I'm
You did
done.
the exact opposite and ended up making the team and helping them win a silver medal.
Yeah, I that's the way I've always been. And because they saw how fast I was, but they were like, "Can you adjust to the Canadian team?" Because I was playing in America, and they didn't think like nobody had seen me before. And when I tried out on my own. Like I came and I just showed up. No one had known who I was, and that was the tough part. Is just keep showing up and keep coming back when people say you're not good enough, and that's totally fine by me because I know my worth and I know what I can bring to the table. And I'm a type of person that likes athletes that try very hard and show up day in and day out. And that proves to me you want to get better. And that's the type of athlete I was. I just showed up. I
Mm.
made them look at me again. I worked my way up to a starting spot. And to me, I'm an earn it type of person. So when I felt like I earned it, I felt better about me being on the team instead of just given anything. I hate being given anything.
How fulfilling was it when you made it and you were able to help this team and they're like, damn, okay, she really is about it.
Yeah, no, it's a great feeling, and it's something I've always been kind of reserved type of person. Like I try not to celebrate my wins too much because I think growing up I was in a lot of high level sports, so I was very critical on myself. But sometimes you have to step back and say like, wow, I did a lot of cool things and I pushed. And not a lot of people can say that. So it did feel very good to be within that team. And that's why I'm very proud to like say I competed for Team Canada on a high level, like for the worlds. team, and that I'm very proud to say.
Just throwing out there, the gold medal that year went to the U.S. I want to say, just
They did. I was trying not to say.
no, I was like, I'm gonna get that in there.
Yeah, they're a very good football team. So they're playing actually this year right away. Fortunately, I'm with the NFL, so I can't be on Team Canada this year.
You told another fascinating story when you spoke to us in June about being at Rough Rider games with your family and asking like, "Yo, can the CFL Saskatchewan Rough Riders like, yo, can the women play football with the boys?" You spoke about your father being like, "Yeah, you can do anything the boys can do," and that's a very optimistic view of it, as you learn, is not that simple. But it really showed that you had a passion for the game for a while. So of all those sports that you've done, soccer, track, powerlifting, I think even I read you got a WWE tryout. Like you're everywhere with it. But why is football of all those the one you feel so passionate about?
Oh man, I think it's, to me, kind of like poetry in motion, because everything has to go right for something to go well. The O line has to do their thing to get the running back to go through. Everybody has to work together, and it's so many different body types coming together as one. Because for, say, maybe track and field, you're a certain body type for sprints, but everyone has to work together to make the play happen or defend the play. And it's really cool that we can bring all these different people together and you're coming together as one. And I love to see it happen. And when it does it, I'm like, what can we do better? So it's like almost an endless pursuit of the game and the strategy and the systems and the concepts. And I don't think a lot of sports are like that. Like, you can be, when I competed in Olympic lifting, like, it is very technical, but it's only for like 1.3 seconds is my lift, but you have a full game to do in it, and it's strategy and it's concepts, and I love like that part of it. And it's more of a team atmosphere, and being in single person sports like track and field or bobsled, or that was two, but sorry, skeleton and lifting, it's just a single person, you're out there, it's all on you, and you feel very alone a lot of the time, and I like the team atmosphere.
Yeah, speaking of the different body types, is something I've been like appreciating a little bit more the past few years. Just like Tyler Lockett and Al Woods are in the same sport.
Yeah.
that is pretty well. Al's like 330.
Yeah, he's big.
And Tyler's probably 195, something like that. Maybe Tyler, you're 200. My bad. I'll give you 200 pounds, but like, yeah, that's just kind of nuts. The difference in I mean, even Tyler to DK.
That's
like
225.
Same position. That's just
crazy.
Just nuts. Everybody just working towards that common goal. It is pretty dope.
Yeah.
I spoke with a lot of people, not a lot, but some people who you worked with and coached at McMaster up in Ontario, I believe. Yeah. And it was like I was asking people in Chicago about Obama. Like, it was like they were like, "Yo, you want to talk to me about Coach Ruller?" Yep, I'll talk to you for 3 hours. Like, it was the craziest thing. Yeah, shout out to Coach Grant up there. Like, he spoke very highly of you. A couple running backs as well. But one of the things that everyone mentioned that stood out to me is that you were really dedicated to getting to know and helping your players off the field just as much as you were on the field. Talking to them after the games, helping them decompress after the games, whether with worksheets or just conversations, to really help them understand how the things that were happening in their life, school, girlfriends, family, whatever, like that can impact your on-field stuff for better or worse. And I want to ask you, why was that, or why is that aspect of coaching so important to you?
Yeah, I think working with some athletes and them telling me that they don't get to know coaches or maybe trust in the coach because they feel expendable. They feel like they can be replaced very easily. Kind of got to me. And I never wanted someone to feel like that. I did feel like that when I was an athlete, and I had some coaches that didn't make me feel like that. So to me, I was just like, my motivation to play as a player was to play for that coach, to make them proud of me. And the way I wanted to play for them is if they made me feel like I was a human being and I wasn't just somebody you could replace. Like, I actually had value and worth. And the way I show that is by getting to know my players. You can just pass a player and say, "How are you today?" They're like, "Good," and walk by. I always say, "How are you? Really?"
Mm.
Because that's so powerful, because that means you want to take the extra second to get to know what's happening even in their personal life that might be affecting them on the field. And I think I have this ability, and you can prove me wrong, but honestly, I think I have this ability to read people, and I feel like I'm almost like a safe space for them. And a lot of these guys have been working with male coaches their entire lives. Even Pete Carroll, like, mentioned to me, he's like, I have never worked with a woman coach before.
Wow.
Coach,
Pete's
yeah,
173. That's
I
crazy.
hope
I'm
he doesn't see
joking,
this.
Pete. I'm joking, Pete. Joking.
We will never get him on if that's the case.
that made me excited to be the first that he has an interaction with, and he has this now experience working with me, and I can show him what I'm about, right? And I'm a safe space for these athletes to confide in, or say like, hey, like, I'm not having a good day. Something's happening maybe in my personal life that's really bothering me. And I've had things happen in my personal life, like, that really brought my mental health down. Like, my father passing away was such like a huge thing for me as an athlete, and it really bothered me for a long time. And a coach never said to me like, how are things like physically, but like mentally, like just checking in mentally. And I really wish that would have been there, because I had a lot of sports anxiety from that, because I was missing my support system as my dad being there, and I never had a coach to kind of help foster me to be better mentally. So that's why I always, always, always check in with these athletes, just like making sure, even my small running backs group, like, how are you really? How's everything physically? Okay, we went through the plays, but mentally, just checking in. How are you today? Well, how can we fix, like, get better as a team, but foster you to just want to be here in this space and focus in, because I think that's so huge. You can put in all the physical reps, but if you're not mentally there, you might not even be absorbing what's happening. And I think that's so important.
We talked about you playing and your game and your style and whatnot, but I'm curious, from talking with Mike and reading about you, the knowledge of the game you have is gold. Like, you have it down. And Mike and I'm learning more about it. I would say Mike is more nerdy than I am in that regard.
Very proud football nerd, yes.
He is killing it on that side. I'm trying to get to that level. Like, Mike could tell you a route runner's depth in a route and all this. I'm just like, what? I'm finding out new stats from Mike all the time. So I'm curious, are you a football nerd where you're looking at all these weird stats that people probably never heard of? Tell us about that.
Yeah, for sure. I do look at those stats. I am one of those nerds, as well as
Nerds unite, baby.
yes,
You
yes.
go.
So because I'm an exercise physiologist, I will break down stride length, and like, just like your breakdown, and the way you're going into a route, and your stance, and your running stride. I can eyeball it so well. This is like the weirdest thing that I have going for me, is like, I can just watch you run by me, and I can tell you like 3 things you did wrong. I have this weird, like, for your stride length or frequency, or your overstriding, understriding, how it could get better in your breakdown if you're over your body, what's happening. I can break that down for you. And that's something that I bring to the table because of that speed and strength and conditioning background and exercise physiologist background I bring. And I've been able to do that. And I've even doing indies with the individuals with my running backs. I even started like, okay, we need to drop this shin angle, because even when I see you sprinting, we don't drop that shin and get over our chest. Like, I've kind of broke it down. They're like, coach, you know what you're talking about? Like, so it's kind of cool that they're really like absorbing what I'm saying, and I can see they're really taking it in. And they're like, holy smokes, like, what else, coach? What can you teach me? Can you teach me about nutrition? We do have a nutritionist, but it's just like extra questions they're asking. And I love it. Like, I love it. And I feel like I am there for a purpose, and I'm useful.
That's what it's about. That's dope. Yeah, because when you
Mhm.
mention route running, that's something that I like. Mike nerds out on stats and other things, but when you mention route running, like, I really go in depth and nerd out on that. I will spend hours watching film of DK, Tyler Lockett, watching run routes. I nerd out on that big time. And when you mention it, just like, oh yeah, that's one thing that I love to sit there and
Mhm.
stare at for hours and ask Mike questions and vice versa. You also got a little running back knowledge. You also played that. You
Yeah.
are now assistant with Chad Morton. So can you explain to us what it's been like working with Chad, and actually just start there. What has it been like working with Chad Morton?
Oh my goodness. Chad is the man. He is amazing, to say the least. We became like best friends right away, because I feel like we have the same personality. he is loud and excited, and I am just like almost like this little puppy behind him. I'm like, yeah, yeah, like let's go. Because I'm just yapping away, like I'm yapping right behind him, and we kind of like brought the group together. We're like, we need to be the most excited group here, and we need to have almost like that match me energy. You have to keep up with us because we want to be the best group out there, and we super are. Like even like every time in practice, if there's like a play that somebody messed up, we'll still go dap them up. Or like if there's something good, we'll go hype them up. And that's the type of group we are. We're like, we're always going to be the backs that are going to be, you want to be part of us because we're going to be so excited to be there. We're going to be the hypest group. And that's what we bring to the table. And Chad taught me that it's okay to be like very excited and very hyped even during practice, because you want to be consistent, whatever kind of coach you are, you want to be consistent across the board. And I love that he's like that because I'm like that. So I don't have to downgrade who I am to fit in because we are the exact same person. Chad is teaching me so much, even within the film study. He quizzes me and I love it. Like, I love it because it helps me learn their system because every team's like a different language. And right away when I came in, I didn't know their language. He quizzed me and helped me along with the athletes. And now I know it so well. And I thank him for that. So now I can teach it and regurgitate it to the athletes.
What were some of the early impressions of the Seahawks running back room?
It was great. The vibe and the energy was really good. Like everyone is good friends with each other. There's a level of compete and passion for the sport, and they were very friendly and welcoming. As soon as I came in, they asked me tons of questions like, "Coach Ruller, you did bobsled? What was that like?" So there was kind of like a Q&A initially with my group specifically, which was really cool. They wanted to get to know what I'm about because I think you can grow as a family if you get to know each other. And that's what you kind of want to bring is like, we have this little wolf pack, this family. So they got to know me and I felt so welcome. So the vibe was really good as soon as I stepped within the building. And Chad had already told them about me. So they were like, oh my gosh, like you're Coach Ruler. As soon as I walked in, like it was awesome.
You're a superstar. And again, back to you being a running back, who are some of the running backs that you grew up watching that you're like, I like the way this person plays. I'm going to try to mimic their style or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I'm very Darren Sproles
Oh,
because I am.
that's a good one. Okay.
I know because I'm very short.
Well, I just like Darren's game. Forget his short.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out, Darren. As similar styles and like Weston Dressler within the Canadian
Ooh,
Football League.
okay.
Yeah, what a good reference. Alvin Kamara. I quite enjoy him. I think he's a good athlete, and just watching him, it's just magic. It's I kind of got my own style because I am fast, but I tried to like dial it back, slow to it, quick through it. That's what I like to say because I was very fast. I run like a 4.75 40, so I had to kind of hone my
Jeez.
skills and get more of that vision as a running back. So that's what I try to help some of these athletes that I see that they're just quick to get in there. I'm like, let's dial it back. Let's get that vision working a little bit better.
Wow. You said a 4.7. My
Yeah,
goodness.
4.75. That's fast.
That's yeah. We need you to come out on Saturdays with us and play some flag.
And we had
There
a
you
team for a
go.
year. Yeah, we play flag football on the weekends out here, but we ain't been playing for months. But we finally got good weather. Anyway, I could have used you when I ran that 40 at the facility a couple of months ago. I would have, because my start was terrible. It was bad.
Yeah, you
I
took
did
off your
see the
shirt. And
video.
Oh, you
this.
saw that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, give him, critique him. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
what could I have done better in my 40 there?
Oh boy.
Keep your shirt on. Check.
Keep your shirt on. Well, that's, you know what, that's fine. I mean, okay, so we have this saying in Canada. It says tarps off to add speed, which is just shirts off.
Yep.
That's a Canadian saying. So shirt off, that's totally fine. Like, because you'll be faster. Maybe get that start a little bit better. Just like get up over we'll work on it. We'll work on it. There's so many angles, shin drop, angles of the back.
Lots of work on
I
Mike.
could use all that. I could have ran a 4.7.
Yeah.
You could have,
I
yes.
ran a 4.7. I'm definitely doing it shirtless again.
Oh.
That's it. There's no way around that. In that running back room, what has stood out to you about the guys you've been around? You guys haven't had Chris, but you know you've been around Rashad and Kenneth, or Ken. He says call him Ken. Travis, DJ, Darwin, Josh. What have you learned about those guys?
Smart, very cerebral group. I can't believe like how smart these guys are and what they can absorb and very quickly. The first day I was like, oh my gosh, I was watching all of the film and you guys don't make a lot of mistakes. You guys are on point. You know what you're doing. You're going in with integrity. Like they just do a really good job. And when they mess up, my bad, and then they don't do it again. So that's the kind of backs I love to work with because we can just refine their skills and get them better. Like sometimes it is just a little bit of vision or maybe, hey, let's run this route a little bit different. But these guys are on the ball, they're smart, they ask a lot of questions within the film study, which I think is great. And then some of them have extra film study, like Ken Walker, like he's a rookie right now. He's doing extra film study as a rookie, and he is just asking so many questions. He's very smart, and I can see him being such a great athlete. I just want to talk about him for a second. Very fast. He's a great person, let alone athlete. He is going to be a great athlete going forward for this team. And I'm so excited to see him grow and develop. And he's going to be amazing going forward. So I'm so excited to say that I got to even work with him and I have to get to know him as a person.
Within that running backs room, who is in there is real funny, always has jokes, but it's still, it puts a smile on your face because you just know they have something funny to say and it's a joy to just be around. Who's that player or players?
They're always joking. DJ Dallas is hilarious. Yeah, Travis is good. Penny, actually, like they're just like always cracking jokes. They're always like kind of joking with each other, kind of making each other feel comfortable and like making jokes with me because they call me the Canadian and they'll always make Canadian jokes to me. So they're all like really good guys and they're always cracking jokes.
That's dope.
What's the origin of the wolf pack? Is that a Hangover reference or is it just like a wolf pack, like actual wolves we're talking?
Oh, we just like when we do a little huddle, like we huddle like literally all the time. Like in between plays, like Wolfpack, unite. And when we get together, then we go cheer on other people, like go hype up the quarterback or go hype up the tight ends because they did a good job, or get that receiver because he did such a good job with running that route. And we get the Wolfpack to unite. If we're too far from each other, we start like getting too far. We go Wolfpack and we bring it back together. So I don't know if we originated from the Hangover, but it's just because we're all just like coming back together and reuniting.
I can't wait to see how the technical stuff you have maybe helped Rashad Penny because as you know, watching him last year, he was basically Barry Sanders for like 5 weeks.
Yeah,
so if we can expand on that, oh man, that's going to be something special to watch. But before you get a chance to coach them in training camp, you just got to coach some under 18 women's tackle football last week, I believe, in Canada. What was that like?
I'm very excited to talk about it because it was the first time they had U18 tackle here in Canada. So it was the U18 national championship. So we had 5 provinces compete, and it was such a great turnout. We had these amazing women from I coach Team Ontario come on down, and no one expected anything from Team Ontario because there's not a lot of women's programs down there at all. Whereas we see Alberta and Saskatchewan, they already kind of tried, like they have some programs where they're teaching women right now. So this was the first time we've ever had like a huge tournament. So Saskatchewan and Alberta were very dominant, and they didn't expect anything from Team Ontario, but we brought it. We ended up 3-3. The games were a little condensed because it was the first time they ever done it. It was 6v6, so we had to get a little creative as coaches to go through that. But we showed really good concepts. You would see a jet sweep coming from us. Like you could see us. We did lots of good things, and me just working with my running backs was great because I brought that energy every single day, and they were just like, "Coach, you're coaching with the Seahawks, and why are you here with us?" And I'm like, "Because this is important to me. Like this matters. I'm fostering the next generation of women that are excited about football, that want to play the sport, they want to be involved somehow, like growing up." And when I asked every single one of them after, like, what are you going to do after this tournament? And they all said that they were going to try out for their boys' high school football team.
That's dope.
Every single one of them. And I wish I had that kind of confidence when I was their age because I didn't. And I didn't even know like that was an option for me. I would have for sure. And they are all going to do that. And they were all very excited that I took the time. All the coaches took the time, but they were just so confused why I was coaching these big, amazing athletes. And then coming to them, I'm like, because you are amazing athletes too. This is important to me. and we're going to work really hard to do well at this tournament and show a good look. And we ended up 3-3. We ended up 4th overall. Great bunch of athletes, and I can't wait to see what they do next, to be honest.
So what type of offense were you guys running, coach? Mid zone, stretch team? You guys run some power? I know it's 6-on-6, so you can't really run a ton of this stuff.
Yeah.
What was the offense like?
Yeah, inside zone, outside zone. It was tough with 6v6 because you got to be a little bit creative. We did some power, very limited plays, just because it was a short tournament. So we gave the girls like maybe 10, 15 plays to memorize. And we just went over and over. And like something about me is like when I go up to my running backs, I'm like, okay, here's the script for today, even practice. Let's go over it. What do you do in this? What do you do in that? We did a little power stuff or like a little inside zone. And they're like, oh, what is that? So I got to explain to them even the base level elements of football, which was a challenge to my skills, right? You're working with these NFL athletes where you're just refining their skills. And then you're working with somebody that doesn't know what inside zone is, or what is a blitz coach. So that was really cool that I got to like go back to the base and like, okay, this is what it is. And this is how you stand as a running back. And I even like brought the element, we're going to do a breakdown after every single play, like badass backs, like we're going to do it. So I am fostering them going forward because they'll bring all that knowledge into the next steps that they do, and they'll be prepared for their high school tryouts for their boys team and whatever team that goes forward. Hopefully there's more women's teams out there for them to compete with. But yeah, I taught them a lot of stuff.
Well, that's very, very dope, man. We could use some of that.
I'm curious.
Coach on our flag team.
Was this game is this on YouTube to watch by any chance?
Yeah, it was live streamed, so I bet you it's on, which was so cool because the girls, they felt very professional because they were in a professional CFL stadium because it was in Regina, Saskatchewan here. So they were at the Rough Rider Stadium, just a condensed field. And then they were up on the big like Maxtron, the big screen with the cameras, and they were being live streamed. So they got all the elements, what it's like to be a professional football player. And I thought that was really cool because, I never felt that growing up. And then here's an opportunity for them to get that at such a young age. So they're going to feel just like rock stars at that point. So I was like, yes, this is awesome.
How bad did you want to lace them up and go out there and play?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Like we even in one of our practices, we gave them a scout look, of the New Brunswick team that we were facing. So I was playing running back and I was getting into it. I'm like, let's go. And they're like, coach, why are you so fast? And why are you so scary, coach? So I really wanted to get out there and play so badly. You got to dial it back and be like, I'm a coach now.
Yep.
I'm a coach.
I heard that.
Think about that scene in Gridiron Gang with the Rock. Remember, he goes against the kid and just you can't do that.
That was me. Just stiff arming kids or coach, what did I do?
Well, then the Rock followed it up by allowing the kid to run him over. He's like, run over me, and he finally did.
No choice.
Oh my goodness! I went up to block one of the athletes and got my elbows in, and I was chopping my feet. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is how you play. Yeah.
You scared him. They're like, oh my goodness, coach is a beast now.
Yeah. One of
He's
them
transformed.
Yeah.
He's no longer coach, he's a player.
So one of the reasons, I say one of the reasons, but something I admire kind of talking to you and reading about you is that you're naturally going to encounter detractors and naysayers along your journey. Anytime you try to break through anywhere, whether it's something that has to do with race or gender or both, people are going to be like, nah, get up out of here, especially in the age of social media. It's shit show. It can be really bad. But talking to you, you really emphasize, you see that stuff, but you emphasize, I had a quote from you saying the top 1% of people who do this, they endorse me. They rock with me. So I really don't care what the other people have to say. And along those same lines of meeting young girls who play football and admire you, what does that do for you, and just especially the young girls as a source of motivation as you kind of break through into male football?
Yeah, I think you nailed it, right? Because a lot of people can say that you can't do this. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be a great male coach and everyone's like, oh, he can't coach or he can't be at that level. But for me, people are saying you can't do this. You're not allowed to be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. And I'm just like, that's so funny because the 1% of great coaches in the world, like in the NFL or the CFL, say I can, and they're endorsing me. And then even when you did call coaches from McMaster, they were saying great things about me. So I trust the opinion of those people over anyone else in the entire world. And that means the most to me is those are my mentors, the coaches at McMaster, the coaches within the CFL, coaches within the NFL. My mentors say I can do this, and that is so much more worth to me than anything anybody could say to put me down. I will never listen to anybody else saying that I cannot do this because they will never be in my shoes and do the things I did to get to where I am. Play football, play different sports to find out who I was, go through trials and tribulations, move across the country to coach for Hamilton when I lived in Saskatchewan, live in your car just to try to play football. Nobody will ever do that except for me. And if you are part of that 1%ers that will do that, good on you. And they will always endorse me because they will know that I worked hard to get where I am. And I've always worked with coaches that would never give somebody something just based for opportunity. It's because I worked to get to where I am. And they're like, she's a hard worker. I trust her. I'm going to bring her in. And she is a coach. She is a coach at this point. Doesn't matter who she is. And she will work hard for us. And I admire that.
Yeah, no, I mean, Coach Grant, man, the Coach Grant he was the OC at McMaster. That's why I keep referencing him. Where's he at now? He's a head coach
At
somewhere.
Carleton, and I'm so
Yes.
excited for Corey Grant because that was one of his goals. Because when we spoke on goals, he said, "What do you want to achieve?" But then I said to him, "What do you want to achieve?" He said, "I want to be a head coach," and he did it. And I was so sad to see him go, but so happy because that's what he wants. So, yeah, he's my guy. So I'm so excited for him.
Well, yeah, and then he was like, if she comes back to coaching over here, like she's on my staff. Although he's gonna have to talk that out with the head coach with Saskatchewan because he was saying the same thing. He was
There's
like,
a battle.
yeah, because you were coaching with Saskatchewan before coming to the Seahawks, and I think that was part of it was the CFL's women's apprenticeship program, I believe, and the head coach there was like, yeah, the apprenticeship's great, but like we were gonna hire her anyway, so like it didn't matter. So they might have to duke it out depending on how this fellowship goes over here. And speaking of that, with you're gonna get to coach preseason games, which is gonna be a big deal. What you're gonna get to? You have any idea what your duties are gonna look like when you're coaching preseason?
Right now, so I did ask for some extra tasks while I'm kind of on the break right now. So the preseason games, I am breaking down the stuff for like the Steelers and the Bears, like doing for offense wise, like doing formations, shifts, motions, like all that type of stuff. So I'm breaking down a lot of the games. And then in the game, I'm not quite sure, but I would love, to be honest, like I would love to be very useful. If I could be on the sidelines, super great. But I've been working with Carrie Joseph breaking down these games, and now I'm doing it by myself. I can almost be up in the booth, like helping break down these things live as it's happening because I'm useful in that for that opportunity now because they could keep me on if I could be useful in some way. And I'm just trying to, help with Visio or help with DV Sport or doing breakdowns as much as I can. It would be cool to be on the sidelines, especially like seeing people back home. Like my mom watched the game. She could see me and like, oh, that's Amanda. If the camera pans over, who knows if I'm just hanging out. But I want to be useful in any way, especially game day. So wherever they want, and we haven't really discussed it yet, but yeah, it'll be a fun game day regardless where I am.
All right, Coach Ruller. This is the last one from me, but is your goal when it's all said and done for you to be an NFL head coach?
Yes. And that might be very scary to say because I don't like how long I don't know how that journey is going to come about. I can see me being in a position working within the NFL. I would love to start as quality control or a positional coach and see where that goes. I can see me being a head coach one day. If I stick to this and I stick to my guns and my values and set those boundaries, like I'm gonna keep working no matter what. I'm gonna keep valuing my opportunities and keep pushing. I can see that happening. I can't tell you when, but because when people say, "What are your 10 years goals from now?" I'm like, you know what, just to keep going and keep working within this sport, no matter what it is, because I have a passion for it. And if that opportunity does come about, I would love to lead a team. Oh my goodness. I have this huge leadership style that's just like bursting to come out. And I feel like it could be so useful. And I see like one of my mentors obviously is Pete Carroll now. And seeing him be the head coach and like his energy, I was like, I can do that. I can see this for my future. I can be him. I can be that motivator for inspiration for these athletes. And it's very reciprocal from the athletes, the way they respond to me. And I can see that being in the future.
Coach Ruller. I'm waiting on it.
Yo,
There it is.
Yeah, Peter.
Let's go.
Hopefully it doesn't take till you're 70. That was, you know, you don't want it to take that long. You know, actually, I mean, you met him already, but a fun coach to pick his brain. I wish I got more opportunities to do it. Would be Tater. For our listeners, that's Carl Smith, mostly Pete's right hand man, but I think he's been an assistant coach at varying levels of football and college and the pros for I think literally 50 years. Like started this in the 70s. Like that dude, between him and Pete, you could sit down and talk with them and you learn almost literally everything there is to know about football. It's kind of crazy.
Oh my goodness, I love Tater. Yeah, you could learn, and that's what I'm trying to do is just sit down with these guys and be like, how did you get to where you are? How can I kind of do the same thing?
You're on the right track. I'll tell you that much for sure.
Well, the first step is to get a job with the Seahawks.
Check.
There you go.
Do it. And nothing promised after this, right? Like you're just winging it after the training camp's over.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I'm just honestly trying my best, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. And like you said, for the first time in my life, I am wanted other places as well. And it's such a good feeling to feel wanted. Obviously, I would love to stay here. If it doesn't work out, you know what? I have a bright future. And I think that's very inspiring to even like think of that with a positive mindset. I'm just going to keep this positive mindset and work as hard as I can. And that's what I can control. And what I can't control is if there's space or opportunity for me going forward. If that's in the cards, there we go. If not, you know what? I'm going to be okay. And I think I'm going to keep going forward.
Yeah,
that's dope.
You started it earlier. Like sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. I would say that's like damn near half of NFL. Is somebody you knew from college or coaching somewhere. They become a coordinator and they say, "Oh, how do I fill up my staff? Who do I rock with? Oh, Coach Ruller. All right, come on, pull up." Like that's half the damn game. So like, yeah, halfway there already. And we thank you for as busy and popular as you are. Like I really cannot overstate this to people who are not familiar with Canada and just that area of women's football. You are a rock star over there. Like it was not hard to get people on the phone to talk about Coach Ruller. It was like, oh yeah, I'll talk to you for 3 hours. So you made an impact over there for sure. Hope you do the same thing over here on the NFL side. We appreciate you for having us. If you do become a head coach one day, hopefully come back. That'd be great.
Yes.
Let's go.
Be our first head coach to join the Seahawks Man to Man podcast. We haven't had any head coaches, right? Just
nope.
Clint and Amanda. That would be great. Anything last you want to add before we get you out of here?
Yeah, I think just on the lasting note, no matter what you want to do within life, just go after it. And that's my biggest advice. Like step out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to keep pushing forward. And every single time somebody tells you no, it's just another opportunity to go at it through a different door. And that's one of the biggest things I could say moving forward. If anyone wants to achieve literally anything in their life.
Yeah, it's not even just sports.
It's life.
Yeah, you applying for a house, whatever, in grad school, They say no, just show up.
Show up.
I might tell somebody that's going to grad. Don't we got a homie going to grad school?
We do.
Vaughn going to grad school.
Yep.
Say if you don't get in, just show up.
Just
bro.
keep going
just
back,
show up
man.
at the classes.
Just go.
Yeah, they'll keep you if you show up. I feel like. Or they'll call security. We have to. We'll talk that one through. But thank you, Amanda, for joining us. Thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube, the Seahawks Man to Man podcast. Thank you to our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, The Athletic, wherever the million places you get podcasts these days. That is Coach Ruller. I am Michael Sean.
Christopher Kidd here.
That's Chris Kidd. Thank you guys so much. We'll probably catch you guys maybe one more time before training camp, and then it's off to the races. So on that note, guys, we are out.